Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shay. Thanks so much for tuning in again. Today I'm going to be doing a video that was requested by some of my nurse gang, which is basically on my nursing brain. So for those of you guys who don't know what a nurse brain is, stay tuned and you will find out. Alright guys, I low-key think my intro was mad creepy. I'm like, stay tuned and find out. But anywho, we're going to go ahead and talk about nurse brain. So nurse brain is a way that you kind of keep everything that you have to do for shift on one piece of paper, and how you kind of keep things lined up with what you think you're going to have to do and what you think you already need to know about your patients. So I'm going to do, this is a blank sheet as everyone can see. I'm going to write out some things. None of these are real patients. I just want to disclose that. I'm all for HIPAA. None of this information is about any patient in particular. This is just showing you guys, if you work, especially on a med-surg floor, how to kind of set everything up where you can still keep information you need to know in one spot. Alright guys, so I take one sheet of blank paper and I usually get it out of our printer at work. You can use any piece of paper really that's free, but I like the blank white sheet and I just use this. So I told you guys I work on a med-surg, tele, neuro, stroke floor. So we have so many different descriptions. You usually have acuity of 4 to 5 patients. Sometimes we can go up to 6. So I like to prepare my paper first to get ready for 6 patients. So I fold it in half, hamburger style. And then I'm going to fold it in a try. So I'm trying to do it on my table, but you guys might not be able to see it. So this side down here, and then I do this side like this, and they don't gotta be even. Sometimes I can be a perfection freak. Sometimes I'm just like, let's get this shift started. So then you have a piece of paper like this. So you're gonna open it all up, and then you have 6 slots. So sometimes I draw lines on it. If I'm in a rush, I just leave it folded like this. So the next thing I'm going in to do right now, I do have my 4-color pen, is I'm going to start getting everything set up in the way that I like it on the paper. Alright guys, so I figured sitting in front of the camera kind of trying to explain this paper to you guys is really super hard, especially because my camera's autofocus is acting like crap today. So I'm literally just going to put you guys right at my desk and I'm going to do some talking while I'm showing you guys my nurse brain. Alright guys, so I have switched over to my desk to show you guys my nurse brain. Let me just make the orientation a little bit better so you guys can see everything. I have my tri pen over here, and I'm just going to kind of explain to you guys like I said before. So I work on tele, med-surg, neuro, CHF, stroke unit. And we only do usually a 4 to 5 to 1 ratio, but sometimes we can get 6 patients. So how I showed you guys in the video earlier, I fold my paper to set it up for 6 patients just in case, especially if you get a discharge and admission, you want to have extra space to add that information. So this is a totally made up patient. There is no HIPAA violation involved. I am just putting everything in here. So Bob Bodacious is a 65-year-old male. He's a full code with intubation, and because of our power chart, sometimes it includes the diet, so I like to go ahead and put that on the top too. He's a 2-gram sodium. If I had any patients that were MPO, I would add that in too. So that just makes that easier. So sometimes if you have to call dietary, you already know what it is. As far as charting that needs to be done during the shift, as a nurse, your first priority is your assessment. That tells it's your documentation that's important. It shows what's going on with your patient throughout the shift. Next thing I turn on is IVs. So I use an I to stand for that. That's your assessment of the IV site and if you had to place a new one or if you're discontinuing one. The next thing that's important for shift charting is plan of care. With the plan of care, it's important for you to go through the plan of care and make sure you agree with everything that's on it. That's what you're signing to when you click all those boxes. We use power chart at my institution, by the way. And if you don't agree with anything, don't check it or discontinue it. And if you think there's more in this patient's plan of care, add on to it. Last thing is education. You should chart education on your patient every shift to just show that you are educating them as the nurse and that they either verbalize that they understand or point out what needs to be reinforced. So that is how I do my dailies. You'll see I'll add them to each patient and just to make sure I'm keeping up with my charting. So the next thing I go in and do is I'm okay with my medications. I don't have to write down each one, especially with it being a med-surg unit. But if you are a new nurse, I do recommend trying to make a little list of the meds just so you can keep track of what you have to get out of the Pyxis and everything like that. Ooh, do y'all see my nail? This is tragic. Anywho, so say this patient, I use I to indicate that the patient is a diabetic and they have insulin order. So that's just reminding me that I do need to be making sure that I'm administering insulin when needed. I will show you guys where I put the blood sugar on this paper later. Next here I have that this patient has 6 10 o'clock meds. There's 2 2 o'clock meds, and I put ABX to stand for antibiotic that I have to hang. And then I have a 6 o'clock, and I just put Lasix next to it. Usually if I have any important meds on this med-surg unit, like Lasix, metoprolol, things like that, I write them on the side kind of just to make sure I remember because they're important meds. The next thing I do go through while I'm looking at the medications, I put any PRNs down here on the bottom because that will remind me what I have for pain and stuff and what needs to be ordered. So say this patient has PRN Tylenol, Zofran, and Nitro. Okay, so we said Bob Bodacious is a diabetic, so I'm going to put a little slot to put his blood sugars. And he should be weight-based, which means we're checking him before meals and at bedtime. So on day shift, I just need a breakfast, lunch, and dinner blood sugar. And I'm going to put them here. And you guys will see I drew a little box in the corner. This is where I usually put my vital signs for the day. So blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, oxygen, and if they're on oxygen, you would put how many liters. This kind of just tells me throughout the day how my patient's vitals were, and if I give report, it makes it easier. Now, with us being a tele floor, I do have to put on here if the patient is on tele or if they're on active care. Active care means they do not need telemetry monitoring. So Bob Bodacious is on tele. If it's expiring, I'm going to put what time the tele expires, but, and if he doesn't have a tele order, but I see him on a monitor, I'm going to put a question mark because I need to follow up and figure out if he's supposed to be on that tele or not. Next thing I kind of do is I just focus on respiratory, wounds, and neuro. So I write stuff that I assess throughout the day. So, like I said, he can be on like 2 liters of oxygen and has some wheezing. Wounds, he could have maybe like a stage 2 on his bottom. And neuro, maybe he's awake alert oriented times 3. His primary complaint was probably chest pain, we're going to say. So I'll put that up here. Now, what I do after I have all this generic information on here, I will switch over to a different color, and this is how I will keep track of what I did throughout the day. So say this is a chest pain patient. We have to draw CPK troponins. Those are cardiac enzymes, and I have to do them at 2 p.m. I'll put that on here. Say he's going to have a stress test. I'm going to put stress test, and then a box, and I'll check it off when he goes. And what I also do is I try to write the time that he went, so let's just say 11 a.m. just so I can remember. Any new orders put in the doctors, so say they added on Norvasc, we can put that on his paper. And just say the stage 2 in the buttocks was changed, I could put dressing change at 4 p.m. So even though this looks a lot like a lot of things in one section, it helps you kind of keep track of what you did for the day, what the patient's main assessment things are, his meds, and just like his vitals. So this can be done. I recommend this only probably for med-surg, because if you're in ICU, I think you need something more, probably more in depth. And if you're in the ER, I imagine you guys don't even need this because you guys see so many patients throughout the day. And then all your specialties, you'll figure out what's more important for you. And if you have this many patients, good. If not, you might not need all these spaces and all this information that I have. So, like I said, as I go throughout the day, things are done. I can kind of check mark them or cross it off. Once I give meds, I can kind of cross them out. Once I do charting, I can kind of cross that out. And my goal for the day is usually to see as much things crossed out as possible and to make sure that all my tasks are done for the day. So this is basically my nurse brain. If you guys do anything else at work, feel free to comment down below or make your suggestions. I just kind of wanted to show this because there's a lot of people that I work with, and even there's new nurses that are trying to figure out how they set up their day. So if you guys are interested, here it is. Alright guys, so I took you in depth of my nurse brain. You guys probably aren't really going to be able to see it, but look at the clips before this and you'll definitely see how I wrote everything out. So nurse brain is just a great thing to do because it kind of keeps track of your day. You can fold it and put it in your pocket. Some of you guys can use the folding clipboard, which I mentioned in my previous video of what's in my nursing bag. One important thing I do want to mention about your nurse brain, try to keep it with you at all times. There's patient information on here, even though you're using some techniques to kind of protect their information. And when you're done with work, always throw this in the shredder so you don't have any problems with HIPAA or leaving patient information around or things like that. So I want to thank you guys again for tuning in to my video. If you have any questions, comments, you guys know the drill. Leave them down below. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. We're trying to reach some more subscribers out there. I know you guys are doing a wonderful job of watching my videos. The views have been amazing, but I do want to try to obtain a little bit more subscribers so we can get this gang started. Thank you guys so much for watching my video again, and I will see you in the next one.